Hello, everyone. I'm Nini FC, and this is Blue Lions TV. You guys, welcome to another live stream. And I'm featuring Joe Tweedy today. And I said that completely wrong. I don't know what was wrong with me. But Joe, if you want to introduce yourself to the stream.
Yeah, hi guys, Joe Tweedy. Glad to be back as usual. Yeah.
Perfect. And you guys, today, Sarri took his first training session, and obviously he had his first interview with the club as well. And of course, I think everyone's seen it today. Exciting times ahead. It does kind of feel surreal in a way because we've been speaking about the idea of Sarri for so long. And the reality is that he's a Chelsea manager now. He's at Cobham. He's with the players. Jorginho's there with him. And, you know, it was a great photo seeing him and Hudson-Odoi laughing together. Hopefully that we're going to continue to see them laugh together throughout the season, implying that he is going to stay. But, Joe, obviously when you heard Sarri's interview, what really stood out for you?
I think the main thing being that the emphasis that he has isn't just coming in and winning trophies kind of any way possible. There was kind of a real clear indication that he loves football. He loves kind of being involved in football. And almost, I think, in a sense, particularly when he was talking about his kind of banking past, is that he's kind of quite grateful to be in the position that he's in. And I think he appreciates that more than some managers who've come through more traditional routes. And yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of the main takeaway, is that this is a guy who is incredibly appreciative to be the Chelsea manager. And I think maybe some guys that we've had in sort of the recent past maybe have not necessarily looked down on the club, that's probably the wrong word, but maybe not given the club the kind of sort of credence that Sarri has. I think particularly his comments about his style of football and that he doesn't think it's going to take him particularly long to kind of integrate that with the players that he has. Also, the kind of the realistic aspect as well. I think that he was kind of almost quite modest about his level of English. I think his vocabulary that he was using was better than Conte's, and Conte's been here nearly 2 years. It's not a slight on Conte, but you know the guy was by all accounts a very, very top investment banker, worked around the world, so his English is going to be pretty decent. Yeah. So that was also quite impressive. But no, I think the main thing that I got from him, it was just his kind of enthusiasm for the job, and I think the fact that he wants to play football the right way. He said he wants, obviously, to entertain the fans. He wants the team to be excited about the kind of football that we're playing. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he was necessarily taking shots at Conte or Mourinho or kind of a recent past. It's just for him, it's a very matter-of-fact way. The way he was talking about Guardiola as his friend, and the coaches that he likes to face, Poch, Klopp, and others that he was talking about. The kind of attacking coaches in the league. So I think for him, it's on a personal level going to be a very, very big challenge, something that he actually seems excited about. But I think from a fan perspective, listening to him talk today, listening to I liked how he kind of really thought about his answers as well. He was sort of thinking, not sort of translated in English, but sort of conveying, this is really what I want to make a good first impression here. So I think very, very impressive. Obviously, again, main takeaways, I think, were people were concerned about his level of English. I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. And just the fact that he's highlighting, the kind of style of play, how we want to play, how he kind of sort of briefly touched upon Napoli as well. But yeah, I mean, I think he was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it got me thinking. Do you think maybe Sarri he's been taking English lessons already? Because he seemed pretty fluent, and I don't know. I don't know if I can buy that. He's always had this level of English. Maybe he has, because obviously we know that he's going to be continuing with his lessons. Maybe, with Sarri, he is a perfectionist, so I wouldn't be surprised that he wants to fully, master the English language so he can fully express himself, every single time, which is obviously a good thing. And I thought it was a decent interview. I think for the average fan that doesn't really know who Sarri is just yet, I think that he's definitely let fans know what his philosophy is. He's let fans know how appreciative he is to obviously be the Chelsea manager as well. And I think that he made a pretty good first impression. I think especially with the English as well. And as he was saying, you could tell that he was really thinking, really thinking hard in terms of the best way to say things. And I thought he gave a good account of himself. And then after that, of course, with the training session as well, I'm sure the players are very happy today. But yeah, what's your whole thoughts on that?
So I was reading some sort of information around the training session, and it appears like he kind of split the group into sort of defensive-minded players and attack-minded players. It looked to be a lot like almost like an assessment session for him, where he was kind of evaluating the guys' technique, touch, and I think potentially, you're going to be seeing, particularly the guys who are going to Australia. He wants to get a feel for some of these kind of lone army guys that have come back, and some of the pros obviously that haven't been at the World Cup. So I mean, I think obviously the way that he's actually trying to do things, I think he's actually being very analytical about it, rather than just going with kind of the tried and tested. Let's just assume all the first team players will take all like the first team kind of reps. He seemed to be a little bit more sort of cerebral about how he was doing it. He was sort of splitting the session up. And again, I think the kind of the main thing to take away, particularly with the photo that he had with Hudson-Odoi, was that I think young players, particularly Chelsea's kind of better academy players, with their level of technique, with their level of comfortability on the ball, and also their physical capacity as well. I mean, Sarri said in his interview that he likes physical players. Obviously, he wants them to be technical, but that was one of the things he mentioned, that he likes physical players. So I'm looking at someone like Hudson-Odoi, particularly I think after the game, or after training. Sorry. He put a post out on Twitter and Instagram, which I think was also quite revealing. So maybe there is some credence to him staying around the club this season. I think people always forget that he's 17. Maybe sending him out on loan now is potentially the wrong move if he gets some minutes under Sarri. I think at 17, if he has a season here to learn the tactical elements of the game, to learn about positional play, to learn about all the sort of things that Sarri's preaching about. You've got an heir to Eden Hazard, but also I think potentially, there is scope for him to try and approach levels like Kylian Mbappe has done at Monaco and now at PSG. I think he has that ability. He now potentially has the coach to do it as well.
Yeah, exactly. That is the exciting thing, and hopefully Hudson does stay. Hopefully he doesn't get loaned out. I feel that I've always felt the best young players should be staying with the club, because they'll definitely get game time. They'll learn a lot as well. I don't think he needs to get that loan move, especially if it's to somewhere like the Championship, for example. But yeah, I mean, very exciting. Of course, other things Sarri was talking about as well. That quote: 100% hard work and 90% fun. That's something you can get tattooed. Actually, probably not. That'd be to be honest. But again, his philosophy, I think he broke it down, made it very simple: 100% hard work, because the guy is meticulous with everything he does, with his training, his tactical works, his tactical planning, and the opposition as well. And of course, the 90% fun part is for us fans. The guys that spend all this time and money, watching the club that we support. I think it's right that we do have fun. I think it's right that we are entertained when we watch football. Again, it costs a fortune. It takes up such a huge investment in your life as well when you support a football team. And after how many years, it looks like we can finally start looking forward to fun times. And how excited are you for the next season? How excited are you for this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think the excitement levels are building up. I think one of the kind of things which I think if you kind of read into what Sarri was saying when he was talking about Jorginho, about how quickly he plays the ball, and I think that kind of concept of quick passing is something that Chelsea have lacked for maybe 5 seasons. We kind of approach teams, you get to the final third, the game slows down entirely, we start shifting it left and right. And I think what we will see under Sarri, and I think this is going to be one of the exciting things, is I do like the fact that L'Équipe described his football as vertical tiki-taka. It's not passing side to side. It's make that incisive attacking pass as soon as possible. Move the ball up the pitch quickly, using obviously short, snappy passing. So, I mean, I'm really, really intrigued. I mean, not even talking as a Chelsea fan, just to see how he can adapt his football. I mean, obviously there were lots of questions about Guardiola in his first season, but he more than answered them in his second season, the style of football. So I think you're kind of seeing a changing dynamic in the Premier League. That style of football and that play, that kind of positional play. Sarri's very, very big on creating these sort of triangles and then having third man runners and trying to sort of elevate and kind of move the ball through midfield. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that, and I would also love to see, hopefully, if he can get to grips with someone like Loftus-Cheek or Hudson-Odoi, seeing one of those start to play regularly, because I think the pair of them both, when I look at Sarri's teams and look at what he wants, I think if Loftus-Cheek is going to take some sort of tactical knowledge from Sarri, some positional work, some awareness off the ball, increase his sort of intensity. I mean, he's going to be an exceptional player. And I think Hudson-Odoi just has the raw tools to be even maybe an explosive centre forward. I mean, he got Dries Mertens banging in loads of goals. I think Hudson-Odoi has that ability to really be maybe like a sort of an Anthony Martial, where they're kind of sort of a hybrid winger forward.
Yeah, 1000%. And maybe in the future, that's a video we can do. You know, just talking about the youth, in particular Hudson-Odoi, and what his future is going to look like for this season. But yeah, I agree. You know, when you watch Hudson play, he knows how to attack the spaces inside the box as well. You know, he's very mobile. He understands, you know, how to time his runs as well, which you can see. I think, I don't know, I'd love to see him transition to playing as a striker.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, I think he has that. And with someone like Sarri, I think that's the most likeliest time you'll ever see something like this under someone like Sarri. But yeah, of course, you know, he was talking about Jorginho, and when asked about what type of player he is, you know, he stressed that he isn't a physical type of player. He's a very technical player. His best attribute is the fact that he's very quick with how he plays because he reads the game perfectly. And what are you looking forward to when it comes to Jorginho?
So I'm in the middle of writing a piece on Eden Hazard, and it was quite interesting actually, because one of the articles that I was looking into is looking at this like passing ability statistic, and it's kind of how do you go away from just sort of equating someone who's got high pass completion percentage like 95% to someone who's actually really good at sort of making difficult passes. And interestingly, that in the kind of defensive midfield category, they had a top 5 in Europe, and Jorginho was in there. So I think, you know, in terms of his ability to find passes, I'm just really curious to see what he's going to be able to do, because I think it's not just his range of passing. I think it's the aggression that he plays with in terms of wanting to find that pass. And I think under Conte, someone like Fabregas almost looked like he was being reined in at times, and not play that ball. And you know, I think it's with Jorginho, you're going to see a guy who can completely dictate the game. I mean, he did it against Manchester City already last season. He was probably the best midfielder on the pitch. It just obviously City were the better team on the day. I think we're getting someone who's a little bit Xabi Alonso. He's a little bit Busquets. He's a little bit kind of Andrea Pirlo, but he's very mobile. And maybe would slightly disagree that he's not physical. I mean, if you watch any sort of highlights or watch any matches, he does like to put his foot in. So I think we'll be able to feel that he's persuaded by that. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, 100%. He's got that tenacity with the tackle defensively. He looks very solid as well. And I kind of see this guy. I mean, this is going to be the title of tomorrow's video on Jorginho. I've got a player analysis video coming out. But I think he's the future of our midfield. I think just his overall play. We've never really had a midfielder like this. And actually, no, we've had it in Cesc, but we've never really built a team around their best abilities and their best qualities. And I think we're getting that with Jorginho. We're going to be seeing a completely different style of football that we've never been close to seeing at Chelsea before. And I think this is where Sarri has the advantage. You know, he's got his metronome in midfield, who understands the game completely and perfectly. And I think it's going to make things much easier as well. I think, you know, I was making this point on Twitter. Remember when Belgium beat England 2-0, Hazard got the second goal. That run that Hazard made, but it was like between the lines, off the shoulder, and then that pass.
Out to him,
yeah. And now this is something I'm always I'm always complaining about this all the time with Chelsea, because I see Hazard make this run every single time, and it's never ever found at all. And I think with how we're going to be playing, as you said, you know, that vertical tiki-taka, because, you know, that's what Sarri's about. You know, of course, he's got patience in possession, but you know, he'll play with patience to create that opening, and then that's when those quick, incisive passes come. And I think with Eden Hazard, he's very good at making those runs, and he doesn't really get enough credit for it. Having someone like Jorginho in the team with him, plus with, you know, guys in midfield, you know, breaking the lines and attacking the spaces, it's going to be a lot of goals scored for next season, I think. A lot. And just you guys, of course, expect me to get into greater detail in future videos. But, you know, one thing in particular I'm really enjoying is the fact that, you know, Napoli, you know, they scored the most goals from open play in Serie A. Don't really score too many goals from counterattacks, which I found surprising. Most of their goals, nearly all of them, are from open play. And you know, their plan B is their set pieces as well. I expect that set piece threat to come back again. Sarri is very meticulous when it comes to that set piece training. You know, I mean, very, very meticulous. There's going to be a lot of goals coming next season. I mean, I've never been so excited at all. I got my tickets today for the Community Shield. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a great start to the season. And yeah, honestly, it's happy times.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. And I think the kind of scary proposition is that I think probably both you and I have grown up with Chelsea having a really, really strong and dominating midfield, sort of going from the sort of Makelele, Lampard to Essien and Ballack and all these sorts of players that we've grown up watching. But I think watching Kante and Jorginho play in the same team, you've got probably the best ball-winning player on the planet, you know, and I think, again, hopefully, I think under Sarri, you're going to see another leap forward in terms of his ability on the ball because he's improved. You know, I mean, Koulibaly had a very cumbersome kind of he had a kind of a very sort of cumbersome nature, but he changed him into being a very cultured player. And with Kante, if he can work on that sort of ability on the ball, I mean, you're talking about not just the best player off the ball, an absolute superstar. So those two in midfield already, I think that's a massive, massive bonus for us. And then, you know, I think you can probably even cheat a little bit with that third position. You could put someone like Ruben in there who maybe isn't as good off the ball as the other two, or maybe someone like Mason Mount or someone else who could maybe cheat a little bit as a player and play a little bit like Lampard did when he had that security of Ballack and Essien behind him, because he knew that if he was caught a bit further forward, then, you know, you've basically got a person who's probably one of the best readers of the game in football. And then you've got a guy who seems to be absolutely everywhere on the pitch all the time. So it's confidence in the guys ahead of the ball, which I think is going to be really, really cool to see. But I'm excited to see how Kante and Jorginho link up, because I think, again, you know, when you start looking at playing against teams like Manchester City and how they're set up with the two attacking midfielders there, I think they're going to come under a little bit more pressure this season. But you've got Kante and Jorginho there, and all of a sudden, particularly playing the three in the midfield, as opposed to kind of the two that we've seen recently, I think all of a sudden it changes the dynamic quite in a positive fashion for us.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, this is why I'm even more positive as well. The point you were making about Alan, and we'll keep this at the final point, and so, you know, so we wrap up the stream. I mean, sorry, I mean Kante, not Alan. I mean, I just but anyway, but yeah, when Alan signed from, I think it was Udinese, people didn't really understand why he was bought in the first place. He wasn't that type of midfield player at all. People thought he was very simple with his football. Working under Sarri, he became a top ball-winning midfield player. And Kante is already world-class. And, you know, Alan improved tenfolds when it came to his technical capabilities. Kante is already very good technically. I think the only thing he needs to learn is the forward pass. And he does it at times. I think that's the only thing he really needs. He needs to spot when to play it quicker. And I think he can easily do it. And I think Sarri's the type of guy where he can bring out that best capability in Kante, because, you know, it's not a coincidence. When this guy's playing out from deep, every single time his passing's quick. One touch control, second touch pass, every single time. So you need to have a great understanding and reading of the game where, you know, it's in a way it's riskier because you can't afford to lose the ball in your own half. You know, you got to beat the press. You got to know where to keep the ball circulating and moving. And a lot of times you've got one or two men trying to close you down. So I think that when it comes to just translating that in the final third, I think it's just a matter of time, other than can he do it? Because it's definitely in his game. And you guys, that's going to end today's stream. Tomorrow, expect to see that Jorginho analysis video. I've needed a bit more time on some of the videos just to make it look, you know, a bit better visually. Expect the transfer daily to come out as well. I was going to release it today. I'm going to be releasing it early tomorrow as well. So double upload for tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Signing out.